Felisa, and this is going to be an entry for Soulful Saturday. And before I get into that, I do want to say that I'm wearing one of the t-shirts from my new merch, and I wanted to get it to kind of wear it and see how it felt and all that kind of stuff. And move this out the way for a second. I think it came out pretty cute. Anyway, so I've been wearing it a couple of days. You'll probably not consistently, like I took it off. Anyway, so you'll probably see it in a couple of vlogs. And I wanted to wear it and wash it and iron it and all that kind of stuff and see how it wears. And I'm pretty satisfied. So if you would like to head on over to my store, there's a link somewhere circulating over here, and there's also a link below that is ahead of my forthcoming book. I'm really excited about that, and also in support of my Facebook group, You Okay Sis. So if you want to join that, the link will be down below too. So I haven't done a Soulful Saturday in a while, and I actually kept trying to do another vlog, a story time that I want to put out, but I was having a difficult time with it, admittedly, and so I just thought that it would be easier to come and do this because it does tie in, and once I get the other vlog updated and loaded and get out my feelings, you guys will see why. Anyway, this vlog today is on dreams and dream interpretation. Now, a little background about me. I think I've mentioned before, and I do have a vlog about a dream that I had about my ex-husband. I consider myself an intuitive. I'm not necessarily an empath, meaning I don't pick up on, I don't feel emotions of other people regularly. I can, but that's not something that is typical for me. And when it does happen, it really does take me off my square, and it's extremely draining. But I do consider myself an intuitive, which just means that I know what I know. I have no idea how I know it. I can't tell you when I'm going to know it. And I don't know what method I'm going to know it from. So it's very random. I've never been able to, I don't know, New Jersey medium myself where I could just tune in to whatever messages are out there and come across with all this accuracy. It's just never been that way for me. It is completely random, and I've learned to take the messages that I get at face value and work my way through deciphering what the intent and the meaning is. So my intuition works primarily two ways. I have this weird thing where if somebody runs across my mind, all of a sudden, I'll be doing the most random thing, like brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden somebody that I haven't thought about in years will literally be on my mind, along with, I can, in my mind's eyes, see this person's face. Unfortunately, generally speaking, if that happens with that kind of randomness, that person is deceased. With 100% accuracy over the years, every time that that's happened to me, I've later discovered that that person is no longer here. I don't know why that happens like that, and it could be years later. It's not as if I have that message when they first cross over. It literally can be years later, and then when I go looking for them, they're unfortunately deceased. So when that happens to me, which fortunately is not a super frequent occurrence. I mean, it happens, but not regularly enough where now I'm depressed all the time. But I've learned that when that does happen, that person is, like I said, no longer with us. And it does make me sad because most of the time it's somebody that I really cared about, and I've just fallen out of contact with them. Then the second way my intuition works is through dreams, and that's far more common. I am definitely a dreamer. Now, I do want to, say up front that not all dreams have an interpretation. Some dreams are just nonsensical. But for the majority of the time, I really believe that, your subconscious is in tune with the spiritual world, and there are messages that are trying to be given to you if you just listen, if you just slow down, if you just pay attention, if you just listen. And so one of the things that I highly recommend is that, if you're someone who wakes up, and we've all done it, where you wake up in the morning, you're like, I had the weirdest dream. I dreamt so and so and so and so. If you recall a level of detail about these dreams that are very specific, you need to really write that down, and you really need to start investigating and trying to interpret that. One of the things that I do recommend is that you keep a dream journal. I have one that I keep on my nightstand, or in my nightstand drawer actually. It looks like this, and it does have the glossary included. Please don't look at my nails. But it has the dream glossary, which really, if you look at the back, it's several pages. It's kind of like an eye chart. I apologize, but you can see that, just for instance, if you dreamt about test taking, that could mean a fear of failure. There's also color associations that happen during dreams. So if you recall in great detail that you were having this conversation and this person was in head to toe red, usually that's a warning. Red means stop, red means danger, red means warning. Everybody pretty much knows that. But who's the person that had on the red, and what were they saying to you? Because that's a warning to you. So when I wake up in the morning, if I've had a particularly vivid dream, or a dream with a lot of detail, I'll try and sketch out as much as I possibly can. And then when I do my meditation, I'll also ask during my prayers to have remembrance of anything that I may have forgotten or omitted or what have you. And sometimes those things come back to me as I'm writing it and I'm kind of sketching it out. You don't have to give like the dream in its entirety. Of course you can give what you remember, but it's important to highlight and know, like I said, colors, places like backyard, front yard, in the house, outside, on the roof, in a park, because all of those things have their own specific meaning. Now, individually, it can look like, these are just random, isolated themes and don't really make a whole lot of sense. That's why looking at it in its entirety and really starting to understand placement and understanding and awareness and things like that helps you give a full interpretation. So, I'm going to pick at random one of my dreams. Let's see. Let's see. Some of these are pretty detailed with people's names, so I want to make sure that I'm not. All right, so this one is from July the 20th, 2006, which is 13 years ago. All right, so in this dream, there's a loud knock on the door. When I open it, I find that it's the police. The officer says, "Come outside. I want you to see something." I say I don't have my contacts in. I can't see. I leave to put in my contacts, but then I get distracted and I forget to go outside. He knocks again and he says that he has someone who has been stealing and I should make sure nothing out the house has been taken. I rush to put my contacts in, and when I look in the mirror, I notice something has been taken. My teeth. Specifically my molars. So, to the casual observer, you might think, "Ooh, child, that dream was just crazy." Maybe that's what's Scrooge say? A bit of undigested roast beef. He said to the spit. Anyway, so when I went to look in the glossary, and I have a dream direct dictionary too, these are the things that really stood out. So police represent authority, natural or civil or spiritual authority. Teeth equals wisdom. And so my interpretation at that time was warning: someone has been trying to steal my wisdom, but he's been caught and ID'd. I was unaware of the theft, but now I've been warned and protected. And so just even reading this, honestly, because I've gotten better at it, a couple of things that stuck out to me is that I didn't have my contacts in, so I couldn't see. So you're blinded to certain things, certain elements, or certain people presenting themselves to your life, or certain situations that you may find yourself in that you are blinded to, and so you walk into it thinking that it's one thing and it's definitely another. Of course, I do agree with the police being a spiritual authority, because I think that this was a spiritual warning for me. I also, what sticks out to me is that, he came and he told me, come outside, I want to show you something, so he was trying to warn me. And, I very politely said I can't see, went in to make adjustments to the scene. and then got distracted. And so to me, that meant that there was something in my life that was keeping me distracted from actually seeing what I needed to see and knowing what I needed to know, even though I had someone that was trying to help me understand that I probably was in a situation or had an issue that needed my full attention. But because I was distracted with life or work or kids or whatever, I didn't immediately pay attention to that, and I didn't immediately respond, and so I was distracted, which meant that this person still had full access to me. And then the idea that I was missing my teeth, and apparently this person had taken them, and I didn't know it, is very telling. So, for someone to even remotely remove your teeth, that's a very intimate, I don't want to say intimate, but that's a very close up and personal kind of interaction, because I got to open my mouth. You got to be in my mouth. So, you've got to be in close proximity to me. And because this was done without my knowledge, but I must have been submitting to this in some kind of way. But this person had nefarious intent. And I don't even remember who this person might have been about, because I probably removed them after I had this dream. But, those are things that, and I'm going to write that level of detail down because I didn't have that before. It's important to keep that, because even now, when I go back and I read that, I recognize that there are different themes and things that would stick out to me. To give me, further insight and further warning. And that's important. And it's always like very, very interesting to go back and to read your dreams and to kind of see where you are mentally, spiritually, etc. And understand, how your dreams have really taken a life of their own and really been a catalyst to you understanding not just the season that you're in, but a warning for you, preparation for you. Disclosing some things that you may not necessarily be receptive to when you are awake. There are many, many times that I believe that God wants to speak to us, but we just don't. We don't listen, and we don't pay attention. And, we tell him that he got to jump through all these kind of hoops in order to talk to us. And so in our dream state, we're open and we're vulnerable. And so there are messages that are able to be sent to us in a way that is easy and kind of tells the story, but it's up to us to interpret that. Now, like I said before, not all dreams have any specific meaning. Sometimes they are roast beef or, just nonsensical. I think, you should write those down just in case, perhaps there's some revelation that will come along with that later on. And if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. But, I think for the most part, if you're having a vivid dream, and especially if you're having a reoccurring dream, I think it's important to really, really, really dive into that and understand what the possible message could be, because 9 times out of 10 is a warning for you. It's, something that you need to know that you aren't getting in your conscious waking state. And, you need to be aware of this information because it might affect you adversely, maybe now or in the future, or adversely affect someone close to you. I also want to be careful to note that interpretation of themes and symbols in your dreams is, something that you'll have to learn to do, and, you'll have to use your intuition and really go with your gut in terms of what feels right and what actually resonates with you, because there can be various meanings. And it's also important to note that sometimes people show up in your dream and that's not who they're not representing themselves. They're representing something else. And you'll have to learn how to decipher between the two. There are times when people do act as their own players, and that is, a warning for you or insight into that person or insight into that behavior. But then there are times when people are representing, a specific kind of, like if your brother is showing up in your dream, it's not necessarily him. It could be the brotherhood or, something along those lines, or, maybe his vocation. If he happens to be, I don't know, a plumber, he's representing plumbers. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to explain, like, the nuances and the variances. That's why it's so helpful to have the journal so that you can write those things down. And there's nothing to say that you have to interpret it right now. Just like I went from 13 years ago and I'm able to look at this in a different way and add on additional meaning for that dream, and give additional perspective for myself. I think that that's important. So please start keeping a dream journal that's separate from your journal that you keep about the going ons in your life, because I think that having a central place for all your dreams and themes and whatnot gives you the ability to go back and look at those dreams, decipher them, analyze them, understand what messages are being sent to you in a more cohesive way. Keep this on your nightstand or in your nightstand, some under your pillow, in your pillow, wherever it is. Keep it close by and train yourself that when you wake in the morning, that one of the first things you do, maybe after meditation or whatever it is that you do in the morning, that you write down every single level of detail that you can remember about a dream that you had previously. And then, you can start to pick out and extract certain themes and certain messages that may be prevalent for you. It's been my pleasure to assist people over the years with helping to interpret their dreams and understanding what messages might be for them. If you have had a dream that you vividly remember and it impacted your life and it turned out to be very accurate, leave that below if you can. I would love to read about those and how you acted on them and how you came to the conclusion that they mean what they mean, and how they've shaped your life. I'm very interested in things like that. I think that it's a way to just validate that we're constantly getting messages, we're constantly being bombarded with them, if only we will listen. I'm Felisa. I hope this video helped you. If it has, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be aware of when I upload new vlogs. I will talk to you later on. Bye.